Welcome back. When the White House used to hold press briefings, in the rows of reporters you could often see Tom Hamburger, a Washington Post journalist and Brighton High School grad. He was in town this month to be inducted into the Brighton Hall of Fame. While here, this Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist stopped by our studio for this interview. There's an opinion out there that the National Press Corps isn't necessarily equipped to handle this kind of administration where you don't have media briefings, you don't have any degree of cooperation, they call you the enemy of the people. What's your response to that?
I've worked in Washington since the 1980s, never seen anything like this. And the way we respond, we have a job to do. We've done this before. We're not going to, if we get attacked, we're not going to respond in kind. We respond in the way that we always have, which is to ask questions, to keep probing, and we're basically news reporters with a job to do.
One thing that doesn't seem to change when I look at Real Clear Politics, the average of the approval and disapproval of the current president, and we see all of these stories. What's your take on what you've seen from your colleagues and yourself producing these stories, and the needle just doesn't seem to move?
So we are, of course, very much aware of that. And you're absolutely right. I look at Real Clear Politics as well. And it is quite stunning. And it says a couple of things to me. One is that and there are a couple things to remember if I could get into this. One is in the Nixon era, you also found, even as some of the most serious complaints, charges were raised against Richard Nixon, that his popularity also held among Republicans. And some presidential historians and people who study polls tell us that there was a long period when it was roughly comparable. But it did, of course, change, and the approval ratings fell dramatically after the White House tapes were released, and Republicans, including Senator Barry Goldwater, eventually came forward and said, it's time, it's really, this is serious. The public's mind did change with that. There seems to be now a much more hardened aspect to the polarization, to the partisanship that we're seeing.
How did you get your start in journalism?
I got my start at Brighton High School working for the Trapezoid newspaper. And I was interested in the news as a kid, and in current affairs and public affairs and politics. And it struck me as a kid, I remember, as a great gig, that you would get paid to do what you and I do, which is to ask people questions and satisfy your curiosity and, in a sense, educate yourself so you can educate other people.
Going to papers, obviously a tough time here. The Democrat and Chronicle, it's seen numerous staff cuts.
Yes.
How do we keep local papers solvent?
There's still an enormous hunger for the news, for information, for reliable information, and with that kind of demand, there has to be a way for this to work economically, and that I think that it will be. And my hope, my expectation is in the future we're going to see a renaissance in the news business. We've just got to figure out the economics of it.
Tom and a team of other Washington Post reporters won a Pulitzer Prize for their reporting of the Trump campaign and administration's ties to Russia. You'll soon be able to see the complete interview with Tom Hamburger in this story at rochesterfirst.com.